Hello, amazing humans. So, in this video, I want to talk to you about how do you know what techniques work for you when it comes to auto-shitism, law of attraction, law of assumption, or manifesting. There are so many different techniques out there. So, do you just say 100 affirmations a day, or do you just focus on affirmations or robotic affirmations? And then there's revision, and then there's vision boards, and you have scripting and acting as if, or think it, believe it, receive it. There's so many different techniques out there. How do you know which techniques will work for you? Well, there's kind of two ways to answer this question. First off, you don't know. And I know some of you may not enjoy hearing that, and it's okay. I'm here to guide you to find the techniques that are going to work for you. That's why I'm making this video. So, I also want to talk about I do not believe in the word trying. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of, I'm going to tell you a little story, like story time. So back when I played volleyball, I had a coach, and he had this No Walls award that he told us about at the beginning of the season. And at the end of the season, I got the No Walls award plaque. And No Walls, he told a story about a snake and a mouse, or a mouse and a cheese, and you got the glass door down, and the snake would try to get the mouse, and kept hitting that glass. It just kept hitting it, and then eventually they moved the glass, and then the snake will either go through and get the mouse. Sorry, I know I don't really like that story. Maybe we should just did mouse and cheese, but anyway, or it would stop attempting to get to the mouse, or the mouse would stop going for the cheese. And so basically, the whole idea or the concept behind the no walls was either there is no trying, and I think we've really set ourselves up for failure in some regards to that. Well, I guess I can try this, or I can try that, or, well, I tried, whatever. It's no, you either do it or you don't. If you do it, great, celebrate. And if you don't, great, celebrate. Because when you don't do it, you either learn something or something else comes along that is more in line with what it is that you need. So I don't believe in trying. Either do it or you don't. So anyway, that's my little story on the whole trying and the no walls thing. So with techniques, when it comes to getting what you want, how do you know which one is going to work for you? Well, that's not really a very simple answer. There are people out there who will tell you, you do this and you'll manifest something in 3 days. That is totally possible. I'm not saying it's not, but if you're new to auto-shitism, law of assumption, law of attraction, manifesting, you can get discouraged because you're like, well, it's working for everybody else. Why isn't it working for me? Well, because this is new. So again, you want to come at this from the perspective of you are doing the things that show up in your life to guide you to enjoy the journey of life, to learning what works best for you. So, with that being said, here's kind of what, again, my opinion, but what you need to think about or what you need to know is how, or ask yourself this question: how do you learn? And I may have talked about this before in another video. I can't really remember because I've been doing videos here and on TikTok. And anyway, so if I'm repeating myself, somebody must evidently need to hear this information. So, how do you learn? There are people who learn auditorily, meaning with their ears, like they can hear something and they learn it. So for those people, you can record yourself saying your affirmations and then play it back so that you're hearing it. It'll start to sink in, it'll start to change and shift things for you. So doing it that way, or listening to, I know there's subliminals out there. Some people are kind of on that. I'm not going to go into that today, but there are subliminals where you listen to someone who's whispering your affirmations to you. But again, your voice is the most powerful. So if you have affirmations and you learn by just listening, I always go back to when I took a college course and it was in this big auditorium and there were like over 300 people. And the instructor was like, I think I had a nosebleed seat only because I chose it, but they were talking and I was just like, I tune them out. I'll be honest. I daydreamed. My mind went where I wanted to go. Like learning auditorily, that's not for me. But if it's for you, that's great. And your voice is the most powerful one. So the best way to imprint that on your subconscious brain is to write out your affirmations or write out what you want and then record yourself saying it and then play it back to yourself. That is so powerful. All right. So you got the auditory. And then you have people who are visual learners. Like they can see something with their eyes and they're going to remember it, right? Or they can read it and that's how they learn. They have to visually see it. So there are a lot of times where, and I'm a visual learner, but I actually have two that kind of go hand in hand in how I learn. So visually, you can read something, someone can give you directions, on a piece of paper, and you can read that and you understand and get the concepts, right? So if you're a visual learner, things like intentional scripting and writing out what it is that you want, that's really good for you. I would start there. If you are someone who is like a hands-on learner, like you have to do it yourself, that's where you're going to want to do an activity that is where you're using your body to do something, where you're touching what you're doing. So let's say you want a new car. And so you would go to the dealership and you would touch the car. You would get in and touch the car and the handle. So you're going to like physically touch what it is that you want. Now, there are some things people are going to say, well, how do I do that when it comes to, and we'll get into that. So ask me questions in the comments, but right now you just need to determine how you learn. So you touch things. Now I learn by my visually and by hands-on. So like if I can visually read something and I can do it with my hands, I'm incorporating or connecting or aligning two ways of learning for me. Now, again, you may be just one way, or you may have two ways, or you may use your whole body. The important thing is determining how you learn. So if you're someone who is, I laughed, I think, and I know I made this video, so I'm not sure where it's at, but anyway, if you are the type of person who, where you're basically what we're checking in here is what one of your five senses do you use to learn? And so I was like, well, how many people learn by like their nose, by the sense of smell? Well, I was like, I don't know anybody that does, but it just came to me. So let's say you're like an aromatherapist or someone who makes perfume. You use your nose to get the scent and the tones, or even someone who's like a wine connoisseur, you're using your sense of smell. And I don't know how you necessarily learned what those different things meant, whether it's dry, sweet, whatever. I'm just using wine as an example, or like the different, if it's floral or woodsy or whatever. Like I don't know all those things because I don't learn that way. But if you can determine things with your nose, then by all means, that's where, again, I'm going to use the car example. You would go and get in the car that you want or a car similar to the one that you want, and you would smell the new leather or buy yourself one of those scented things that's like the new car smell, and you would smell it. And that would take you into that place of, I'm sitting in my new car. And then I thought, okay, so how do you learn by taste? Well, I don't really know anybody who, again, if anybody learns by taste, great. But the only like analogy I could give is like if you're really into food, like if you're a baker and you're putting in all your ingredients and then you taste the batter and you can taste and you learn by that what ingredient is missing. So again, those ones are a little bit more, I think, deeper, but that's only because I don't learn that way. And I'm just trying to help you guys figure out how you learn. And again, it's what of your five senses helps you learn what it is that you're doing. So once you know that, then you can determine what techniques, like start there. That would be like a great starting point. Know how you learn and then go find the techniques that are associated with how you learn. Now, again, I'm not saying this is the only answer. I'm not saying that if you're visual that you can't, say affirmations out loud or whatever, or if you're an auditory that you can't like scripting. Some people like to write or journal. So again, it's just know how you learn and then the techniques, they will just show up. So start somewhere. Not every technique is for every person. Again, remember, we're not all one size fits all here. So you are a unique individual, and I'm going to be sharing lots of tips and tricks. And so my I guess what I really want to convey today is come with an open mind and be curious. And then if you're doing something and it's just there's like a misfire, like there's a disconnection, then that's not the technique for you. And then the other piece of that is that if you're doing a technique and you think it's not working, you're in your brain, then you got to go back to the body work. So again, I'm just trying to build this foundation of how knowing how you learn, choosing the techniques that will work for you, not getting discouraged, and just doing something else. So when you do it one way and it's not working, then you just go on to the next thing. This truly is a journey of self-discovery and connecting with who you are and what you need to align with what it is that you desire in this lifetime. Auto-shitism. So I hope something resonated with you. If nothing did, that's great too. So take what resonates and leave the rest. And until the next time, love, light, and really big hugs. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so that you stay in touch and get those new videos that I'll be posting soon. Have an amazing day.